Is it still set up the way it was before?
Oh, that's a nice opening. Thank you, Bullet. Okay. Um, we got a din mirror. Oh, good. No fucking GDF. That's good. I do have to fix the colors because they're both blue. GDF, yeah. Player colors. Jeez, what a start, eh? There we go. All right. Emptied Hopes map. On the left, we have Swansong in the red Dynasty versus Game Boy 420, aka Root, in the dark blue. Also Dynasty. You have 10 more minutes and it's bedtime. Okay? Kids, mate. We'll see which directions they take this in a Dynasty mirror. They both know they're both Dynasty, so you're not going in to scout to see if GDF or Dynasty are going to have a quicker attack. Looks like Root's going to move his MCV. Looks like going up to the top right. Still no movement, if any, from Swansong. And speak of the devil, MCV is packed up and is now moving to what looks like the mid expansion. No one's taken middle TPC yet. It looks like Swansong has a couple of Dynasty Guards and an Engineer heading in. Doesn't look like it's going to be contested. Root happy just to let that one go. Also a Pillager and more Dynasty Guards. I guess that's to protect in case the MCV was going to be targeted in an earlier push. I've had that happen to me. Wasn't nice. What are we sitting on? We've got logistics plan on for Root and logistics plan on for Swan, aka Conrad. Haha. um, Pillager coming up top right. It's going to be able to clear out some bunkers, possibly go to the TBCs and clear some more out there. Doesn't look like there's an answer for Root just as yet to be able to contest. Has got his own Pillager coming up as well. Just waiting for his missile troopers to catch up. Three rigs apiece. Zero doctrines for both Swan and Root. Got a little flank coming in behind the army. We'll see how the micro goes. We've got more missile troopers coming from Root as well. Pillager's going to harass the two missile troopers, which in kind will probably happen with Root when he spots the missile troopers himself. Oh, sneaking in on the bunker. Behind that, Root has moved up to 5 rigs to 4 harvesters. Rigs, I should say, both rigs for Swan. Yeah, sorry about the start. Had to fix the colours, get the program open. The match started very quickly. Yeah, the harvesters are mining the Tiberian. One extra rig for Root. Population, even with the extra rig, he is actually down on population, so more army composition. Looks like this big batch of infantry here with a lot of Dynasty Guards is what's making the population a little bit higher. First doctrine coming out, the middle doctrine, that's for root, that is an infantry based 30% more HP. Does clear off the TPC. It must have been captured by Swansong during retreat from root. Swansong a lot closer to the base, root going all across the bridge. He does have a force, but he's got his home base to be worried about at the moment. If his villager can get a good hit, does get him to do a little split as the second pillager comes in. Swansong got his. Oh, I thought he was going to crush that. Oh, that was his own line officer. Knock out this machinist with the line officer. Healing Bay coming down by Dark Blue, so that's root. Not that he has a lot of infantry in there, but I guess to keep this machinist fresh if he zones back a bit. Likewise, the infirmary coming down from the Swansong. Do have more of a stream coming over from Swan as well, trying to just keep the constant pressure on. Played Swansong about 10 times today, got him once only, otherwise I was sat down like a noob. Very good player, so is Root. Very good match. Yes, I am a hamster. Thank you, Bullet. Just got Mr. Nonverbal on his red wine, giving me some help via the chat, and he wants to join the hamsters and unite as well. Population quite even. Operatives, we've got a line officer and machinist for Swansong. No operatives from Root at the moment, being either taken out or cannot afford. Has got the slight eco advantage with the extra couple of rigs if they are able to continue mining. Still enough Tempest Tiberian in the fields for him to continue on for now. Machinist getting down to 33 HP, gets taken out. Population still pretty even, just trading quite efficiently each. The flame tower coming down from Root's going to really help it. Poking at the infantry and the infirmary. The matchsticks, that is definitely going to scare Swansong off. Full retreat to reconsolidate. The matchsticks will clear off that initial push. Still using the sticks to go out, clear off what he can. Looks like we do have a bastion out. No, I am wrong, no bastion. Fields. No bastion out. No T3 incoming just yet. Good hit by the Dragonfly coming over the top, picking off one of the low HP matchsticks. As the game goes on, if the battle doesn't go in a decisive way, it's going to be a little bit more of an advantage for Swansong to be able to rotate himself more up to the top bridge Tempest if he's able to hold. As the resources are starting to get quite thin for Root in his main fields, he's looking like wanting to move out, especially having the extra 2 rigs moving as well. Not sure what TikTok is meant to be going for. TikTok to run out before running out of resources is my guess. On a clock, yes. Extra MCVs coming out. He is starting to move his rigs down to this bridge, but Swan does have the center control with his base a little bit closer. Like there was a good stun onto the matchsticks by the operatives. Very good ability. Does wear off eventually. Another stun if you cycle them out and don't do it all at once like I do. Can hold those operatives back. Some juice. Go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. Go say good night, guys. Managed to be able to keep the battle in the middle and get his rigs transferred to the bridge center field. That's going to definitely help the economy keep on. Population big swing. Route is up on population and one extra rig at the moment. Those matchsticks doing a pretty good army battle in his favour, even with the very good silencing stuns from the operatives from Swan. Yeah, not much of an army. If Root knew it was this low, he would probably get in there before it builds back up again. Playing it safe. Got these dragonflies out to protect his air force as well, so looking like Root has got control of this match currently. Also stealing Swan's TPC. Bastion is coming out. We'll have to wait and see if Root transitions into T3 or goes more MLR base. Swan tapping out on this one. Feeling behind with the rigs already out. GG to Root. Takes the first match. We'll see where the next one leads. Won't be a sec. Okay. Game 2. Top right, we have Root in the dark blue versus Swansong in the red dynasty. Both factions, both players in the red. First game went to Root on Emptied Hopes. Moving into game 2. Swan also tickled my pickle on this map a couple of times today as well. We'll see if he sort of sticks to the same sort of play, and we'll see what Root has up his sleeve in a Dynasty Mirror on Road to Ruin. Bit more of a spread compared to Root's more consolidated double overloading. Din guards coming out by both players to meet in the middle. At the moment, it looks about even, depending who gets the right shots. Got Swansong on the retreat. Root immediately deciding to go down and see if he can secure the bunkers, or if they were secured, deciding to go back into the middle control. Pillager coming out from both teams, both players. And Bullet has made me a scorecard. I've just got to be able to get it to see this screen. That's what we can see, and the one that comes up as the overlay in the downtime soon. Both on one rigs. Okay. Pillager coming down to clear bunker. It has got the TPC secured, so we'll get the refund on it. Likewise, Root going the other direction, so even on TPCs currently. This Pillager is going to be able to try and get some kills, getting a couple of crushes and able to get us some good burn damage. Very good trade for Swan on that engagement. Swan also capturing the other TPC. have 2 factories for Root, 1 factory for Swan, but more infantry based. Still both on 3 rigs each. And another capture swap, finding a way to get their engineers in for a capture, get that little bit of extra income. Another engineer coming down to have a look at this TPC and maybe get another capture. Highly wanting to keep the TPCs on their side with the extra power and the passive credits. Swansong taking a small population lead. Both players are on 4 rigs each. Good dodge from Swan. Once you pop, you can't stop with the old Pringler Wars. I like that. Thank you, Bullet. Looks like we've had a bureau drop in amongst this time with a call the guard to take a little bit more population lead. We have a line officer and an operative sitting behind that as well. Root has also dropped his bureau as well. However, it does look like there's a little bit more of a mass from Swansong, so Root will have to find a way to defend. Inspire going down from the line officer. Good splits. Taking out those Pringlers pretty quickly. And I'm going to go with, if they take care of this machinist, it's probably going to be close to GG to Swan in my opinion. Maybe able to save up and get a call the guard. Maybe just a few too many rigs from Root, thinking it was going to turn into more of a macro eco game. Oh, not a bad little crush. Still, with this economy pouring through, maybe might be able to find ways and good trades just to stay in the game and maybe bring himself back into this match. Losing a ring along the way and Swan adding a ridge, so a little bit more even in the economy. Could maybe go for a crush on the line officer. A couple of very low HP units, could get one little tap on them to get rid of their damage. Swan keeping up the pressure. Operatives and line officer very low HP, but may jump in for a little heal. No, they've got a pillager on the way, so just going to do the split and see what damage they can get done before maybe going down. Operative's going to escape with 8 HP. Root 2 rig advantage, up to 8 rigs to Swan's 6. Population's quite close now. Both have 2 operatives each. Looks like one just may have taken damage or just went down during that fight. I think that operative tasted some sand. Immediately popped before doing any damage with the flame tower. I think the Pringle is going to have a little bit of trouble with the Havocs, however the flame tower coming in and the operatives do some very good damage onto those Havocs to shoo them away. Refilling, he got himself back into it, but has ran back into another force, going back to He's got an engineer, gets that out of the way. Maybe put some mines up and be able to take care of some of these units. Operatives getting away. We have one operative each still alive. Population has gone back towards Swansong. However, Root does have 9 rigs to the 6 for Swan. Root has the more rigs. However, Swan has been on his doorstep for most of the game, especially the latest 5 or 6 minutes. I don't think Swan would have it any other way if there is not something shooting at something. He very much enjoys a battle. Root a little power capped as those were coming out, but since got his power under control, we got another MCV coming out as well. That's going to be his third. Doctrines wise, not a lot in doctrines. Root having a 4 doctrines across the top line for a little bit of explosive damage for the Havocs, and the infantry doctrines for both players down the middle line. These matchsticks not having support with the Dragonfly just as yet. I know there's one around here somewhere. We've got the Bastion upgrade coming. We'll see how many, if any, he decides to do upgrades, or he might just do some MLRSs. Swan catching back up in population, still having his army alive, is going to be able to knock off a few of the salvage bands. Maybe get a snipe onto these operatives if he focus fires them down. Snipers retaliating, getting some good kills back as Root drops a triple flame tower, keeping his operatives alive as well, and a upgraded war factory hiding there as well, doing some extra damage. Sitting on a 2 rig advantage for Root. Still have some fields left that he can resort to. Unfortunately, the engineer not getting the quick cap. Air advantage looks like it has gone to root. We have some balls and MLRs poking around and a couple of dragonflies and matchsticks, but root has got a pretty good substantial matchstick advantage at the moment. Dropping a salvage van, maybe going to pop some extra defenses to harass some of the rigs around this area. Still very close on population and 12 rigs apiece. Doctrines looking identical as well. Looks like they are going to go down the money side currently. Very good hit from the Swansong on the ball. Looks like Root has a little bit more advantage with some forward bases. Also has quite a substantial population advantage as well. Extra rigging. Doctrines are still looking the same for both players. Not sure what Swan has up his sleeve to figure out how he's going to be able to break through. Focus on one of the bases. MLRs. Quite well. Dragonfly getting stunned by the operatives. Lots of reinforcements coming in from as well. So from the start, when he was getting sieged in his base, that extra couple of rigs and his good skill got him back in the match. Moved on forward. A 17-minute Road to Ruin battle. Root moving up to 2 games to 0. Let's see what they pick for the next one. Okay, tropical logging for game 3. 2 very close games so far. However, both games have gone to Root. Very back and forth. The recording has begun again. Yes. Bottom left, we have the Red Dynasty Mr. Swansong sticking to the red, and Mr. Root, wait a minute, swapping to the GDF on Tropical. Dark Blue, Game Boy switching factions, knowing both factions well. Are we going to see Root bring out the Mr. Maulers, or are we going to see those riot vans and medics wreak havoc early? Or both? That will be the question that we have to keep an eye on this match. MCV move, pretty standard from Swansong, is going on a bit of an angle, might be going to the new spot a lot of people are giving a go of. Up around this little spot here, and then transferring their rigs from when the Tempest runs out up to this patch here, let it replen, and then come back and reharvest when it's all back up. Taking the larger field, however, has got no regenerative purpose, however it is very rich. I think they should put a pod in every Tempest field. Well, it's going to see how Swansong deals with the GDF. Whether or not he's going to try to finish the game early with possibly a bureau, or if he's going to try and do the late game, or if he's going to prepare for the riot medics, which probably are going to be on the way in my opinion. Looks like a pretty standard opener. 2 minutes 47, I think everyone can get their base looking like this, but can you get your infantry and your engineers looking like this? That's what you need to do, get that right sequence. When I learn what it is, happy days. No NG snipes coming down from Root onto any of the TPCs. Root also picking up the mercenary camp. Might see some grenadiers or an expansion come out from here to start some harass down onto the TPCs. Line of infantry just walking up towards Root's base. We'll see what he's going to do with those. You always notice the good players are always constantly having production and units flooding out. Radar's up, no pod started just yet. Wait, and it does have a pod. The red pod I think that's the riots. A radar up for Swansong. Hardest part's trying to find the gap to squeeze in the tech with the inevitable large attack that in comes from GDF in this particular patch. But Swan does have good experience against GDF and Dynasty, so if anyone's got a chance, he may. A lot of riot troopers coming out more than the vans and the data core and things like that. Already consolidated quite a big army, however in population wise Swansong still has a higher population cap, as a lot of the units for Dynasty cost more than one, so you never have a ginormous, gigantic army when your population is capped by production and units that cost more than 1 or 2, 3 population. Sure, GDF have a couple of units in there that do cost more production, like the DCU, or the DC Wear as we call it this patch. Got a riot medic out in the mix for Mr. Root. Sitting on 9 rigs, 9 harvesters each as well. A bit more doctrines come into play in these larger maps. Road to Ruin, we were still sitting at like 1 or 2 doctrines early. That's knowing your faction and what each doctrine does for when you want to do something. Sending a riot medic down to the south. Run into some grenadiers, but I think the riot medic might be able to give a little bit of suppress now. He's going to see this with the sentinel as well. And look at that. Sit there and cop it. Riot vans are out as well. Might prompt Swan not to do so much infantry as well. It's going to stick with the operatives. Hopefully be able to get some snipes onto the riot medics if they come face to face. A couple of preemptive laser turrets in case he has Swansong has the urge to do a mass stick tech snipe to make it at least a little bit more costly. Finding a little gap coming down from the north onto some rigs that are not very defended at the moment. Swan opting to go in and have a look at the battle. See if this ball can find some value. Keep an eye on it. Good value there. Doing a bit of a spin. Now it's getting focused. Still soaking up some damage. And the MLRR's getting some good work done as well. Front line starting to disappear. MLRRs might have to head back and wait for some reinforcements. Still going to hang in there and poke what they can. over the split force behind has cleared out some rigs and everything else that's coming over to reharvest as well. Getting some damage onto the TPCs, making Swan have to come back to clear out the army and letting Root get his data core up. And will we see one? Will we see one of those devils? Where are they? Little split force getting more damage done. Grab an MCV on this one. Yeah, Root's banked up a little bit of intel to be able to choose what he wants to spend that on. To his credit, I haven't seen a drone mauler come out, opting to keep the match a bit more friendly and slightly fairer. Looks like Root's got a couple of MCVs as well that's popped out. Maybe they're going to front line an attack, or at least just make sure that no matter what happens, he's got some extra MCVs up his sleeve. Swansong is now up to 18 rigs as well, harvesting quite well. Populations both caught up a bit, operatives and snipers on both. T3's is established. Doesn't look like Root has decided to go into the mauler route using the scramblers and riot shields for his intel spending. Looks like it's got a composition, balls, MLRs, and some missile troopers. I'm not sure how much work this engineer is going to be able to do. Maybe you can go in and kill these Tempest artilleries and laser turrets. Or might just sneak up and grab this TPC. Just felt like having a little taste of the Tempest artillery on that particular fight. The Scramblers getting better work done. Scramblers appear to be getting a little bit of love in the next patch if it ever comes out. To keep an eye on how that transpires. 255 banked up intel. Usually you just spend on drone mauler. Deciding to keep them out of this game for this one. Rigs aren't going to have too much fun by themselves there. From the 18 rigs now down to 11 and 14 harvesters for root. The artillery is holding the lines, selling off the ones he doesn't feel he needs with no Tempest to defend for resource harvesting. Just going to let those ones go. Also just not really just sitting in one base, which would produce about the same amount of everything with the intel. Population's still pretty close. From the original, the first operatives out being the riot medics is now swapped over to the snipers. EMP going down to slow down the attack. Shield maintenance reaching across the map. Yeah, GG called. Swansong not able to get into the GDF pants on this one. Root taking the game 3 games to 0 currently, and we'll find out if we have another match or if that's a best of 5 and they call it. Be right back if they do again. If not, I'll come on and say goodbye after that.